What's up, everybody? So today I'm bringing you the very first ever Snoozefest podcast. Excuse me. So in this podcast we have myself, Brock, Diego, Elijah, Jesus, and Destiny. Unfortunately, we're not able to make it, but Elijah and Darian are also in there, and we kind of just sat down around the table, had a few drinks, and this is what brought to the table. I hope you guys enjoy.
Or whatever you want to call it, coitus to 30,
Ballsack.
having only worked at a freaking fried chicken joint in the hood. I got 180 credits in political science and all sorts of other weird shit. No degree except for an associate's.
Hey.
And
You can be a substitute
and I've just got more
teacher
volunteer hours. I've done a bunch of para work. I've done a lot of
You can
classes.
also be a
Paralegal
paraprofessional.
Paralegal and paraeducator.
I just got a job offer for that today, but it doesn't pay enough.
Okay, so my mom just got hired at like the 5th school district she's worked at in the last 15 years, right? She's got a specialist degree in school psychology. It's like a developmental school psych, like does diagnostic stuff, like which kids are EBD or like, you know,
I want to
actually.
do developmental for my master's.
And then that's why probably I'm so fucking weird and I say a bunch of weird shit, because she always raised me like, as she was doing her master's, like she had me like at 24, was going to school, married my dad. Our generation can't do that. We gotta work 2 jobs to make enough to have like.
True.
You know. So she applied for like this job, right? And she went on this website. She's looking at these government postings, like public record, like people she's worked with in the past, and how much they make. So she's getting paid $75 an hour. And I was like, Mom, you don't understand. You can't do that anymore with a degree or not.
No.
Like you are a dying breed. Like and she does, because she totally doesn't get it.
No.
Like my dad was working at Chrysler before they cut all the shifts, and started bringing in summer help for like a third of the price. So they don't understand like how like
Podcast. They
yes,
record this shit.
They're old money.
They're
Dude,
old money.
they're old money.
They're old money
Dad.
that was there when Clinton left us
My
with
dad
a
was shitting
surplus.
on me for the job that I got offered today.
Yeah,
Are you
dude.
kidding
Told
me?
me that
He
if
said
I became
he
a
said,
teacher
yeah.
that he would disown me.
And I'm just thinking like she doesn't
He said that it's
really.
embarrassing.
She doesn't really like
Embarrassing.
her job a whole lot at DHS.
What does he
and
want
whatever.
you to be?
And don't get me wrong.
Something that pays.
Well,
Even
yeah,
doctors
he
and lawyers
just-
don't get paid anymore.
I
Like,
mean,
that's the
yeah,
shit kicker, and they don't understand
is. And the thing about it is like when I really think about it, I'm in like around the same boat as you. I'm not as old as you,
Yeah,
but I've been to school.
right. Like
for
you're
goddamn
fucking
5
smart.
fucking years.
And
right?
you like, you know what it feels like to put in all that work and be like,
Yeah,
you know what,
and-
like I don't have the piece of paper to show
Yeah,
for it,
to
but
be-
I'll talk
right.
circles around you and I can
Right.
fucking
Yeah.
do this job if you let me have it.
Right.
But I'm not at the
Literally.
point. I'm not at
And
the,
even people like at Home Depot, right? Like this is a really low ball kind of thing. My supervisor got fired. Well, you know, everyone loves you, everyone likes you. Why don't you?
Which supervisor? She got fired?
Yeah, like 3 weeks ago, almost a
Hallelujah.
month ago. Yeah.
was she smoking pole in the back room?
Nah, just
No, she
Hallelujah.
just sucked.
She
was just a
sucked it.
horrible,
And
horrible
And I think
worker.
she ended up calling off way too many times, is what it was. But they're
Thank
like,
you,
why
God.
don't you go for the supervisor position? And I'm thinking about it, and it's like, cool. It'd be nice to have a raise, right?
Right.
Like,
Oh, yeah, hell yeah,
if
more
they
money.
even if they would consider it, right? Like, and you had an interview for it or something for some reason.
Well, they're trying to skirt you.
Right? And I'm just thinking like, why am I not gonna do this? Not why am I, but why am I not gonna do this?
You start asking yourself,
Well,
what's my
I'm thinking
time worth
like,
to
hey,
me?
guess what? Relax. Guess what? I'm thinking like
He's vibing.
I'm thinking like, guess what? Why have I gone to school since I graduated for 4 years and I'm still a semester shy
You and me both.
of
Like
my associate's degree?
It's just like
Right.
shy of a piece of paper that like.
Why?
but you got the
And I'm
knowledge.
thinking about it, and it's like, okay, cool. If I'm a psychologist, I guess I have to know what I'm talking about. I guess if I'm a nurse, I have to know how to do these things and whatever.
eventually
right?
it comes
Okay,
down to-
okay, you're
yeah,
right,
yeah,
and
yeah.
it does. But when you started working, even at McDonald's, when you're 15, 14 sometimes years old, right? What do you know?
Jack's
Absolutely
fucking
nothing.
I know the grease.
Absolutely
I know the grease in the
nothing.
pressure cooker.
Oh my
burns me,
god,
but
when I was
don't
like
fast.
14, 15, I was like working, I was like volunteering at fucking Goodwill. At
Right.
fucking donations, I was like, hey, you know, Goodwill is secretly like just
Yep.
bringing shit in for free and just
Right.
I was
flipping
loading
that
groceries
shit
to
for
the-
money.
loading groceries
But
to the
it's
food
a
pantry for free,
non-profit organization.
So then you continue on, you know what I mean? You mosey yourself along, you do your gen eds, or, you know, you go to trade school or whatever, and everyone's like, hey, what do you want to do when you grow up? You know what I mean? And this right here, in my opinion, now that I've thought about it a little more, it really does circle around to what do you want to do when you grow up? And back then, our parents decided what they wanted to do.
Exactly.
True.
And when you
Absolutely
decide,
true.
you just go. So whether my mom is now a nurse practitioner, she's been a nurse practitioner for like 17 years.
17 years.
Yeah. So my mom has worked in the Winnebago County Jail, Swedes, Mercy hospitals, blah blah whatever.
Private,
she's still
public,
here. You know
she's
what I mean?
all
Yeah,
in
she's
both
done.
sectors.
She's done what she needs to do. She got her master's degree online. So you know she stepped down and started doing stuff like, you know, just normal shit. Instead of being the head nurse practitioner, she's gonna just be
Something
a
less
nurse because
stressful.
she can do 2 jobs. Like she can work a 12 and a 12, and then a different day she can work a 12 and a 12. You know what I mean, or something like that. Instead of having to be there 5 days a week, getting paid salary, not getting paid overtime, blah
Not getting
blah blah.
benefits because they're trying to.
So
super
they know
understand
that
hours.
Darian's dad's a truck driver. He didn't really
That's what
have
my
a
brother does.
particular decision for that, but he does it, and he makes like, you know, $100,000 a year.
That's my brother
you
and
know
my
what I
and
mean? It is
my
what it is.
steps or my sister-in-law. They're team drivers because they don't.
Then we have Brock's
Make a lot of
dad,
money.
who decided to go to Chrysler, which is the same as my dad, which is
It is,
also
but
the
it
same as our
sucks.
friend's dad.
Same as my
A
dad.
lot of people.
And a lot of people work at Chrysler.
Back then, it was
But
lucrative.
It is.
They slashed all those shifts, and now they're paying everybody
and
summer
now,
pay rates.
And now,
Yeah,
even
dude,
kids,
it's fucked.
kids,
It's so fucked right
our
now.
age are thinking it's the same way. It's a fucking. I have
No,
to do
it's a
this.
fucking
I need a
trap.
car. I need a house. I
Right.
need
Let me tell you.
insurance. I need this and I
Let me-
need that. And
let
then
me
you
tell
are.
you.
And then you are going to be a perpetuation of old money.
Right. It's
But
pie
let
in
me
the
tell
sky
you-
doesn't exist anymore
Let me
because
tell.
there's not
Let me
enough
tell.
slices
Let me
to
say
go
this
around.
right now. The people who think they're gonna get into Chrysler and make good money and work a lot of hours and work overtime and actually build their way up into the career,
Well, they're fucking wrong now.
Doesn't
dude,
happen anymore.
Chrysler's going under.
Yeah, this shit
Chrysler went under
Chrysler
already.
is
That's why they've been bought up a
going
couple
under. They
times.
already filed for bankruptcy.
Yep.
They already got
Who was the
bought out by
CEO? Who
Fiat.
was the Fiat CEO who
bought
died a
them
couple
out.
years ago.
Yep.
Now they got a new guy.
Dude, yeah, Hummer. No, not Hummer. Hummer got bought out by Fiat, and then Fiat bought out Chrysler.
Yep.
And then,
And now who else is trying to unify with
yeah,
them?
and then we
Before that, they were
just filed
Daimler.
another
Daimler bought
bank.
them in the mid '90s.
Yeah.
Mercedes, and it was like, you know, it's being passed along, and like these companies are now.
And they're
it's
about
now
to
being-
call the quits
the
on
purse
Chrysler.
strings are overseas
Like,
now.
dude,
It's not
I
here.
just got told. I literally just got told that my dad had another audit. Another audit, meaning, are they still within perimeters to fucking
Operate.
operate and fucking
Because you remember
thrive.
a few years ago when that fact they shut the Belvedere plant down for a few
Dude,
days at a
and
time.
yeah, and they've laid off
There's still
hundreds and
laying
hundreds
people
and
off,
hundreds
like,
of workers.
every other
Yes,
week, every
there's
other
so
other-
many layoffs. They're just not making
hear it
nowhere
all
near
the
enough
time.
money, and people think that they're going to get this job. They offer $18 an hour starting, and people think they're going to go in there and they're going to work the line
I
and
defer
work
my
their way
time
up.
to the representative from Kentucky.
Yep.
It's me, Elijah. I'm from Kentucky.
You're not.
Not actually, but.
I don't
but,
wanna say
the,
Illinois
the
'cause,
thing
you know.
about it is that like what we're talking about is really relevant, and what's going on right now is really relevant. But
Precisely.
people haven't realized that like this goes back far as fuck, man.
This goes back
far as
200
fuck.
years, man. This country was founded on free labor.
I was
Like, bottom line.
I was 3 years old when 9/11 happened, and
You were
my
3?
dad.
Yeah.
I was
My
in 6th
dad-
grade.
Oh,
My dad looked at me and was like, Neil, we're being bombed. Look at the TV. And I was
Yeah.
like, I'm so fucking sick. I don't care.
I was 3 years old in 9/11, and as we're talking about Chrysler, my
It's not
dad has
funny, but
worked at
that's pretty
Chrysler
funny.
since before I was born.
Yep.
I know.
And
dude.
my
It's
dad,
fucking
My dad
got
put in
laid
30
off.
years.
My dad got laid off, if he was lucky, one time a year.
My dad got
So
hit by
now
a forklift
people
driver twice.
are-
Had to
Yeah,
take a
my
fucking
dad
lift.
went third.
People are like crazy, going crazy about like, holy shit, Chrysler's going down, or this is
None of the big
place we
three
need
are-
to work,
are
and blah blah.
like, soluble
and they're
anymore.
saying that, but they're saying that because they just didn't realize that it was happening the whole time. Like, and you take a company like
It's
that.
not meant to be sustainable the way that it was through the 90s.
It's just not.
Absolutely
it's
not.
not the same.
And you know
anymore.
what? The huge crisis It was absolutely worst before we had Woodward.
Absolutely.
That's
If
also true.
we
because
didn't have Woodward,
really makes up for a lot
I was gonna
of stuff
say,
we have going
because
And even
everybody-
it's a big it's a cyclical
Woodward's
thing.
huge.
Exactly. Everybody who didn't make it into Woodward went to Chrysler. Everybody who got laid off from Chrysler
Went to
went
Woodward.
straight to
I
Woodward.
remember back when
And-
my dad was at Chrysler, you know, they had skilled trades. People were
Right.
people had their
Yeah,
eyes on
they
something
had-
higher,
yeah,
and you
dude,
could
right.
there
Dude,
was, there was
and-
levity to move up.
All right, and thinking
not a
about
thing
that, like my grandpa even started at Chrysler.
Same,
and
my
you know,
mom's dad
when
was
Chrysler
friends with
first,
my dad,
when the
somehow
first
my
Chrysler
dad
plant
bagged his
opened in
daughter.
Belvedere, it was $8 an hour. It was
Back
$8.
then,
It
that
was a
was-
huge amount of money.
Yeah.
That was a crazy amount of $8 an hour. It was a crazy amount of money. And you know what? He literally had to pick up the V8 engines, put them in these cars, weld them shits together. He had to put all the fuel lines together. He had to hand weld and hand
Working
screw.
conditions have always been shit.
And now
OSHA's always been
Everything
underfunded.
is robotics. I've been through the whole entire Chrysler plant
Which
over and over again.
at the end of the day, it all
Why they're
comes down to
saying
shareholders.
That psychology and other kind of
Behavioral sciences like mental health.
are going up.
They are.
Oh, yeah.
In the
My
next 10
cousin's
years,
got-
it's
And
going to
they're
be
going-
demanded.
Oh, I believe it.
Yep.
I believe it.
That's how my mom got this job so fast.
I believe
so the
it.
school district she was in, so there's all sorts of red tape, you know, like as far as like state and like federal level like laws, as far as compulsory education laws. People are having referrals for kids who might be learning disabled. They have to have, you know, my mom does the testing, and then you know I score her protocols 90% of the fucking time. I helped her apply for this fucking job. It's probably why I'm 30 and I don't have my own shit out, because like she's just always all over the place. So like since I was little, she just always came home and spilled all her fucking work on the table, just threw it at my brother and I, and it was just like, fuck you want me to do with this?
Brainstorm it out.
Right.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, Mom, how about you just shut the fuck up for 5 seconds, finish your report, stop trying to do like
Out, right?
5 people's jobs. Well, we're not gonna meet the fucking deadline. It's like, well, how many
Fuck the
people are?
deadline.
Yeah, fuck the deadline.
Fuck
You're
the
one
deadline.
person. So
Seriously.
she just got hired a week and a half ago. They're literally they have all these. They had 52 deadlines coming due.
Fuck
This
no.
is a small like suburban
No.
school district. And I was like, Mom, this fire was not yours to put out.
No.
They brought you in because
We
you're the
didn't
only.
start the fire.
Yup.
No,
We
I'm
didn't
saying
set fire.
seriously.
Billy Joel, yeah.
And you know
Yeah,
what?
dude.
Like, we're talking about it, and you're in a different generation than us. Don't get me wrong, but like
Are you guys not millennials?
we're not millennials.
We are
Oh,
not
fuck.
We're Gen Zs.
No, we're
Gen
Gen
Zs.
X.
No,
Gen
we're Gen
Z.
You guys are the ones that
Yes.
eat Tide Pods. Fuck.
We are 1 year off from being a millennial. We are
And
Gen
Tide
Zs.
Pods?
I got a buddy who's like,
Are we Tide Pods?
We
or
are
not?
Tide Pods.
We're Tide Pods?
We are Tide Pods.
God
But
damn,
we're
dude.
all
I
in
didn't want to
the
be
same
Tide
sort of, like,
Pods.
But think
fucked
about
up,
it this
like,
way.
wagon, though, together.
We will forever be 1 year away from technically being where everyone else is, which is why we get categorized in the group that we're in.
And think about
because even in
the
school-
technological prowess we have that
Yes,
we grew up with that we
absolutely.
can't apply
Because
anywhere because
if
it's
you,
common day.
If you think about it, we
Like
grew up in the
TAs.
perfectly wrong age. Like I don't think that like I'm retarded.
Okay, well, actually,
like,
they're blaming millennials for the Tide Pods.
yeah, but that's,
Everybody wants to blame everybody
So
else.
we might be in the clear.
Yeah!
Like, one time I accidentally ate one of my own teeth, but it's because it got knocked out and I swallowed it. Sorry.
Hey, there you go.
You know, like fuck it.
But
I used to pull my teeth out with pliers.
Oh my god, I used to do
millennial stuff-
floss.
The millennial stuff to
It's a
me
ploy
is
because they
like-
left us with fucking shit. They left us with
Right,
crumbs.
the millennial
and they
thing
never
for
had
me
to deal
is
with that.
actually really important because like I understand that I understand entitlement.
Oh,
I
absolutely.
understand you know like the way that media and stuff influences us and whatever. I really get that.
That's important. The
Like,
entitlement
I
part and noticing that
get
it's that it
Because
is a
it's
thing.
there. It's fucking there.
But we're not
Like,
all trust
now,
fund babies, you know? Like
I mean, I'm not saying like, hey, I really tried my hardest to move out of my parents' house as soon as I was 18 because I didn't. And I'm not going to say that I'm not going to use my parents' insurance until
Right.
I'm 26
Abs-
because I
absolutely, dude.
don't know in my current stage of life. Hopefully, within the next 3 years that I am going to have my own insurance. And
that
be
being
able to
said,
set
I still
myself
have
up.
fucking defunct medical bills because times
Right.
humanity didn't build this shit right.
Right. No,
It had me as the fucking
and-
policy holder.
And we're thinking about stuff like, okay, my grandma, right? She's 67.
She's
So if
younger
we're-
than my dad.
Right. So
Holy
we're
shit.
so we're gonna say 67, right? She's 67. We're in the like 67 years ago. Okay. She was born, right? We're in the thing that we learn about in elementary school into middle school about trickle down economics.
Reagan said it
Which
was
is
work.
actually trickle
So
up.
it's
fucking
trickle up. It's trickle up, which in that day and age was definitely trickle down. It
Oh,
really
yeah.
did.
In
actually
theory,
trickle
in
down.
theory, it
But
trickled down,
but
but it was very slow
But
and
it
cost
really
of living.
did. It was slow, It costs
Yep.
a lot.
Society in all facets didn't adjust adequately.
It also burdened people who make more money, which circles back to the thing we were talking about earlier. As
Which
we're like, hey,
everybody
after
who made
$250,000, whether you make
economics made a lot of money.
$1 trillion,
Right.
you don't pay any more in taxes. Well, then we're getting away from that trickle down ideology because
These corporations
don't
still
get
use
me
the
wrong.
same roads as the people who make less than 200.
Right,
Yep.
right.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
what
Don't
always-
get me
for sure.
wrong. It's great that
To
people
pursue
had ideas, people made the world go round,
Innovation
and
is
people
important.
are doing things, okay? I'm not saying we're not sitting here not doing anything, but we don't, right now, think about something that you can do that will change the fucking world. You don't just automatically have these random spitfire fucking ideas that you're just like, I can be a
Even
fucking
the
billionaire,
.com bubble.
or I can
Think
just
of how many
go.
people
Yeah.
just bought up domain names, so that like
Right,
nowadays,
literally,
they'd be
you
like,
can't
oh,
make
somebody came up with a
fucking
company,
anything.
well, I'm holding that fucking domain name.
Yeah,
I'll sell it to them for
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'll never get rid of it. But then when someone makes something, you even get a
what's
payout
Google?
for that.
Google,
you even
all
get a
right.
payout
I'm getting
for
you
that.
2/3 of your
Dude,
shares.
yeah,
Fucking absolutely.
Google, Apple, dude, literally all of them.
And here's the thing that was like really stuck out to me during the State of the Union of the Internet when the Democratic representative from Michigan, I can't remember her name, gave the Democratic response. She said, Trump and everybody on the on the right, and not even just the right, but people who hear it and they think like, oh yeah, the economy seems fever pitch white hot,
Right.
which it does. It's just that macro and economics is a huge fucking animal that's really not
it's not a huge animal. It's an otherworldly.
it's an otherworldly being, and to say that like, oh, since it's white hot, everything's perfect. No, only
No.
less than 40% of Americans hold stocks, and that number is
Then why would
concentrated.
you?
Right,
It's expensive.
it's
now.
expensive.
And
Like
if
I don't
your
want to be
shit's white
over there at
hot,
the reserve,
yeah.
like yelling at the TVs and the
Yeah.
screens. Buy it, sell the fucking. You don't sell the fucking.
Dude,
beans,
yeah,
I'll sell
seriously,
it.
they're over there fucking holding like fucking
Right,
like,
stockbrokers,
dude, like,
suicide rates. Stockbrokers are like police. Like it's like this profiteering. Like everyone has to profit. You can't profit forever because eventually, the consumers don't have anything more to give.
Right.
ain't that the
So
fucking
if
truth?
wages go up, I can spend more fucking money. I'll buy
here's-
your new fucking iPod. I'll buy your new fucking car.
And you know what's funny? Directly tied to that. How many ads on YouTube have you seen? You see all these guys in fancy Lamborghinis and all this shit selling stuff from Amazon
My dick is 18
warehouse.
inches,
I'm
flaccid.
gonna tell you how you can make a whole lot of money and it's
from
not a
YouTube.
scheme.
Click down below
Right?
where my
Click
dick
down
is
below,
18
right?
inches and
then
nobody
you'll
ever goes
see-
hungry.
You'll see a fucking ad. And people watch
It's
that
clickbait.
shit. And people watch that
yeah.
shit. And it is
And here's the
clickbait.
here's the
And then
shitty
you
part.
go and people
It's generations
start
above
fucking
us that are
doing
like,
it.
oh, but I saw this online. It's like, yeah,
Right.
and they're,
Oh, yeah.
they're fucking
Oh,
you,
yeah.
bro.
Right. Oh,
And then
yeah.
we look
It's the
at
same
it,
as the
and they're like,
well,
hey, you
maybe
should
not
do
the same
that.
as coronavirus.
Well,
Well,
similar.
coronavirus. Yeah, I was going to say coronavirus affected a lot of older generations,
I don't want
man.
to talk about
Coronavirus is
coronavirus,
impacting
dude.
global economics in a weird way. China's, for the first time in 6 years, accepting international aid.
Coronavirus is fucking fake.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's not fake. but because
real,
of the way
but
they
it's
came
not
on,
fake at the same
it's
time.
not as bad as they're saying it is.
It's
Communist China,
over-dramatized.
Communist China's propagandist like belittling of how like many people were infected gave the global like the CDC and the global like Center for Infectious Diseases just like instituted a fucking I don't remember what the article is. It's some part of like NATO and some other shit where like
Right.
they literally made it like almost a crime of war to literally promulgate any misinformation
Right.
regarding like the numbers and stuff. So like China was like, oh, there's only a few hundred when there was actually almost 40,000.
40,000.
Right. So like and now that we're at like 44,000, and that's what the CDC is actually like boots on the ground. And it's not like a really nasty fucking virulent disease. It just makes you susceptible to other things.
Right,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
So that's
yeah,
the problem.
yeah.
It's
So,
like,
like, in
so
I mean,
people,
it's the same thing.
people weren't ready for it.
I mean,
Yeah,
dude, it's
and
the
it-
same.
and
It's
like-
Foxconn's shutting down exports.
It's so easy to understand as to why it's a big problem in China because here we are in America. We don't have the greatest healthcare. We don't have the most advanced technology or anything. But everybody cares about them fucking selves for
Right.
one. For
Ain't
two,
that
Hence,
true?
I'm an
for
anti-vaxxer.
two,
I don't want to
let's
vaccinate my
just-
kid.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
just say
Well, fucking
grenade.
anti-vax now, motherfucker.
Let's
Like,
say-
we got this fucking viral disease going around the
Yeah,
earth.
let's say, hey, you know what?
Hey, your
We're-
kid's gonna
we're-
infect everybody in preschool.
Right.
But hey, you
Yeah,
want to
but
use
send him to
homeopathic
school.
fucking
Yeah.
treatment and rub some leaves on your kid and boom, he's fucking cured.
And he's got poison
safe.
ivy because those leaves were fucking poison ivy.
Right.
Poison oak.
And the easiest thing to say,
Sorry.
and it's not China's fault.
No,
and,
not
and
by
I don't
any
think
means.
anything
No.
is like realistically.
It's not
in this
fully everybody's everybody's fault. Yeah, no.
It's no one's.
No.
It's not. Anyone's
It's the fact that
fault.
we're all on the same
But
fucking rock
just
and we're
like,
playing these
if
factional
you,
games.
If you have us four in the room, okay, and I'm infected, right?
and I suck your dick.
And I
Am I gay for sucking your dick?
We're not.
Dude, no, that's a topic we already talked about long couple weeks ago.
The realistic scenario here is.
Oh, so I'm a faggot now. Okay. Just kidding. Go ahead. I'm sorry, dude. It's
We're flying off the rails.
As you were.
Apologies. Let's say I'm the 40,000. Okay. Brock's America.
Which for an
Brock's
infectious disease isn't a whole lot.
Brock's America. No, it's not. It isn't.
I'm
but
proud
Brock's
to be an
America.
American.
Yeah. Brock represents what 360, 370 million people. You two are both China.
Well, fuck me.
Well, guess what?
We're fucked.
You're over 500 million, and you're also over 500 million. But I'm also from China. So if I represent 40,000 people, we have all of America over here. We got a couple cases in Chicago.
Number.
We got a couple cases in Los Angeles. We got a couple cases
and then
in Florida.
The pandemic
but
panic
the difference,
with
the difference between
airlines.
the pandemic crazy shit is that, sure, we're going to shut down. No one is going in or out of China.
This
unless
factory
it
had
is
a worker who was
absolutely
handling all
necessary.
this food that was infected.
Right.
So, oh shit.
Everyone else has a choice, and China does not. But the reason that it's kind of scary for China, if it is quote unquote scary, there's over 1 billion people there.
Right.
That's a lot of people.
It's
There's
basically a war
over
of attrition.
1 billion people there.
Okay,
It
correct me if
will
I'm
go.
wrong.
It will go.
It doesn't matter
Yeah.
where you are or how you got it.
Which is why
or
I think they
you got
quarantined
it.
the
It's going
cities
to
so
be
quick.
Over there.
Yeah.
You know, I mean,
And
okay, you're right. There's over 1 billion people in China
Yes.
alone, right?
Yes.
And you know, China, the most China or Japan, the most populated.
China.
it
China,
China?
then India.
China and then
No,
India.
India
right?
first.
India first, yeah.
India surpassed China.
I think
In
because
population,
they just don't have the infrastructure to really
Yeah.
take tally.
All right, never mind then.
But still,
fuck
you know,
whatever.
and they share a fucking border nearly like.
India.
I mean, yeah,
India
that's
has a
pretty
couple
fucking close. I mean, what? There's
hundred-
one country in between the two.
There's a
India and
buffer.
China?
I think
Yeah.
I think they share a border at some point, don't they?
And at some point they do. I'm not
Don't
gonna go
ask
out
me
on a
about
limb.
geography.
I'm not a
I was gonna
geographer.
say geography. I'm not a.
I'm no
huge-
economer, but
Not
if
my
the
thing.
economy was down to a cool 8K, we'd be great. Said George W. Bush and nobody else ever.
Fool me once, shame
Hey,
on you.
America.
Fool
Shoot me
twice,
once, shame
you're
on
not
you.
gonna
Shoot
be
me
fooled
twice.
again.
Joke's on you. I got your shoes.
True, and I'ma throw them too.
Remember that guy? Fucking Hugo Chavez was like, it smells like sulfur. Here where George W. Bush stood.
Jesus.
Because he was the devil. And someone threw a shoe at him.
George W.
Yeah.
Bush was a
Oh
fucking
well.
idiot.
Okay. So
Dude,
another
made
thing,
up words that became words because they sounded so stupid, but at the same time,
Because they made them. Isn't
Fool
that
me
insane?
once,
the
can't be
Grecians
fooled again.
used strategy
Yeah,
to outlast their
strategery.
opponents.
Jesus.
They're
And I say to you,
opponents.
my fellow Americans, hola, como
My
estes
fellow
from my ranch.
My
where
fellow Americans.
All my milk is not pasteurized and the cheese is all diet. What the fuck did you just say? Your dad? What? Jeb's a fucking mute. Doesn't
Thank
even
God
fucking
his
speak English.
dad was not the worst piece of shit on the planet
Amen.
because that's the only reason.
You know,
that
I'm
idiot
all
gave
right.
us what we
You know,
have.
I don't want to be the one to say it, but I'm gonna
But
say it.
I agree with you,
That's the
like-
same fucking thing we said about Donald Trump.
The thing we said about Donald Trump is
Okay,
he's not a
but Donald-
politician, but
Donald
dark
Trump's
money like
dad,
Donald
yeah,
Trump
is
is
not a
money.
politician.
But dude,
That dude just
Donald
made a
Trump's
bunch of
dad
money.
is the one who actually started the whole
Donald Trump's dad
everything.
is a first generation
Well,
immigrant.
yeah, and I get
And
it.
look at Melania. She's a first generation immigrant. And look at his rhetoric
yeah.
on immigration. His
yeah.
dad gave him $14 million and he says, he gave me $1 million. My dad gave me only
He
enough to
gave me
pay for his
a
funeral. So what the fuck? Like, what was I supposed to do
Speaking
with
of
that? You know,
small
like,
loan of $1 million.
right, like
you
I
know,
would take
my
$1
dad
million
gave me
and buy a
small
bigger
loan of
dick, a new car, and I don't
There you
know.
go, and here we are.
Here I am.
Here we
yeah,
are.
exactly. We were
got
able to start
20
this
We got
podcast.
23 minutes on a podcast.
Forgive my
And-
student loan?
Yeah, I'm
Yeah, exactly.
He's like,
Wow.
we're the
Small
only
loan of $1 million. You
industrialized
know what you
country
do with
that-
$1 million towards student loan?
We're the only industrialized
A
country
fuck
that-
Word
ton.
student loan, I could probably pay off
I'd
like
pay
an entire
mine.
school's
I'd
worth
pay
of
off the whole-
student
yeah.
loans with
Exactly.
I could have
With
paid off the whole
$1
track team at
million?
Whitewater. Like, all of us would have been free and clear.
But hey,
My
fuck
mom and
us,
my
right? He
too,
gave
like-
us a small loan of $1 million to help
What?
your
D3
fucking
can't give
library.
scholarships?
that
Fuck
I mean,
it.
like,
Forget
yeah,
my
Dude,
mom.
we had Trump University. Trump
Which was a
University
fraud.
Failed. It was
Just like
huge
charter
fraud.
schools by and large.
Yeah, and then Trump. Oh man, what else did he
Is
start?
that when
He
they
did
busted
the.
like the famous people for getting
No, that was
No.
that was an admissions scandal. Which to that
Yeah.
point, a girl that I dated in high school, her dad's best friend was some corporate crony of his, was one of the trustees at U of I, and he got in trouble because back in like 2011, they were just like. They were basically, there's a thing called a congressional scholarship where every state gets to pick like 2 kids to get free tuition.
Right.
My girlfriend, her sister, and her others, like there's 3 of them. And each of them every year were 2 of the recipients for Illinois' congressional scholarship. And I'm just like, But this doesn't seem crooked as fucking
Right.
the letter
like,
Z.
You guys must be the most fucking amazing people on the planet.
And granted,
at
like,
the moment.
yeah, she's great in the sack and she was really smart, but like, no sense of humor, very literal, and her dad was like
Great in the
anti-Obama
sack,
to a
though.
T for no reason at all. Okay, yeah, you meet all the fucking criteria for
Yeah,
bullshit.
right?
Hey, you know what's funny? You know about it. I don't know if you did. You remember?
Yeah.
Oh, I remember.
Perry got fucking fired for money laundering.
No kidding.
Yeah.
Wasn't he some
years
kind of
and years
weirdo
ago.
too towards the girls?
No, he did
no, no,
basketball.
no. He was the basketball.
Yeah,
coach,
he did
and-
basketball.
And he was always looking up and had red eyes and stuff. He had glaucoma. So
I get nervous in crowds.
Oh,
no,
okay.
and
Yeah,
I
I
mean
was
that
gonna say he was
legitimately
smoking
because
the
he did
weed.
smoke all the time before school, but it was allowed.
This is somebody you guys went to
Because
school
he
with.
had a medical
glaucoma.
condition, yeah.
So what ended up happening
That's
is he was on the
insane.
basketball team, or not on the basketball team. Excuse me.
He was
the coach of the
yeah.
basketball team, and what he was doing though is kind of talking about what you were talking about earlier. Whereas teachers bitch about not making enough money, which they don't. And
No,
to me,
absolutely
that's
not.
honestly fair. I think that they should make $70,000.
Absolutely.
Everybody goes to
I
school.
I don't think they should make
Absolutely.
$40,000 like
No,
and basically
below the
goddamn
poverty
make,
line,
like
man.
35
I know.
and like
That's fucked.
fucking
That is
Is
leading the
that-
You need a
future
goddamn
minds of our
master's
country,
degree
and they
practically
think,
to
oh,
be any kind of
we'll
good
just toss
teacher.
you the minute amount of money that you could possibly fucking get. You're leading our fucking future minds.
If I were a
But hey, you
teacher,
know
I'd have
what?
to moonlight as a stripper.
Here's
That's
the
if anyone would tip me.
scraps that you can
Saying,
have.
Fuck, man.
Fuck them kids is pretty much what the teachers receive.
Oh, that leads me
Yeah.
to something else. He got fired though for money laundering because what it was is that he would request equipment
Write-offs and
with
shit.
the
Money
other guy.
laundering.
The
Is
other
he
guy,
still in
the other
here?
guy, the weird dude.
Is he?
You know what I'm talking
the
about?
older
They
guy.
always
Dwight from The Office.
not older. He was
Was he the?
He was like
boss?
kind of bigger. He was a white dude, and he just like was always laughing around
man.
and stuff like that.
Laughing.
He had a little bit, not the guy that's still there because he teaches health. But anyways,
That would be
what they did.
Mr.
But
No,
they
no, what's
they
his
would
thing? I know what you're talking about though.
yeah they would request money for equipment, and then use a portion of it to buy equipment. And
And
also
then keep
cash
the
the
rest.
checks and keep the rest.
Yeah.
So
they were
that was
Money
that was
They were
laundering.
taking write-offs and expenditures, saying it was for
Yep.
Also, Darian, did just. I mean, it'll be in the recording, and that's fine, and we can try to edit.
Hippo
take this out.
Furpa says
We
that
actually
Mickey
can't-
Mouse is
We actually
the
can't say names,
true that.
and so unfortunately,
It'll
I
have to be
did.
edited.
I did say.
Who the
But,
fuck is the?
Yeah,
We can
he's
say
in
like
jail.
L
yeah,
or something.
Yeah,
Like,
initials
we'll have
from
to
here on out,
abbreviate
people.
it,
Yeah.
Well, here's the fun part. You are right. That is important. I'm glad you said that because my mom comes home and she's like,
Right.
"Oh, where's Canada?" And she's like, "I shouldn't have said his
knows?
name." I was like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah,
mom, because I wrote his
and
name
I
down."
didn't
and I
think
don't
about
know,
that.
and you're definitely right about that. And I mean, this is just a trial run, because unfortunately,
still.
Brock, the very first 20 minutes that we did was still fucked up by the
Office.
thing,
Okay.
and it was in all the weird.
It was a
places.
mashup.
Well,
Hell
either-
yeah, I love mashups.
So
Well, either way, I mean,
And my cousin passed away in 2011, and that was the end of. So Donnie's the guy that my mom was with. Like that was the end of his last name. Like his son had my cousin, but my cousin's dad never married my aunt. So my mom is now. It sounds weird on paper. I was like, what? Like that's like incest. I was like, no, it's fucking not. It's literally like none of us were related by blood except for me and my cousin. Like,
Right.
what the fuck are you talking about? But so Donnie is the guy that my mom's with, and he like literally had me bring my mom's car over because it was making ridiculous noises when I went to back it out of the driveway and technically it's my fucking car because she bought it with money that she got because my dad died. Anyway, it got real dark. I'm not resentful at all. What?
Welcome to the
She was some fucking-
podcast,
yeah, welcome to the
everybody.
podcast,
Look, use some
everybody.
loophole fucking when
Hello, everybody.
they've been divorced since I was 12. He died in 2016. She got $60,000 and I'm living in a house with no kitchen.
Fuck all that noise.
I want to go into the UFC just to fucking vent out this anger in my fucking hands, man. Like there's like she's I love her to
Conor McGregor.
death, but she's for a psychologist.
Can't use names.
Oh man,
Sorry.
she's
Fuck CMG.
Same.
this is my
I don't
dad.
even
See how
know
old
what you're
that fucking picture is?
Wow, that is really.
He was
that
20.
is
He was 20
vintage.
years older than her.
That
He was
is
born in
vintage.
1947.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
My dad was 73.
47.
I was from his 5th fucking batch because Mexicans get around. But like,
Holy shit, though.
You know, hang on. All right, if we could take a
47.
pause.
My mom was born in 68.
my mom was born in 66. So like,
okay, hang on. My dad. Okay, hang on. My dad was born in 67.
my dad was spitting game at 44 years old.
My
Fuck.
dad was born in
Yeah.
67. Your dad was
Your
born
dad-
in 40s?
47. My dad was 70 in his 70s. My mom's now under 50. He was
Your dad was born.
My
His
dad
dad
was-
was 20.
and like I said, my dad's like he was just knocking him up left and right.
You know, was he in the service?
No, he actually was in a motorcycle accident and broke his leg in 3 places right before Vietnam.
That's why.
And he still
Dude,
tried to enlist.
that
That wouldn't
right
let
there
him.
is- that right
I was
there
gonna
is
say
why.
he was born
He was in a
just
motorcycle.
after World War II and just escaped Vietnam.
Dude, right?
Fuck.
Down in the city he grew up in, it's Laredo, Texas. It's a fucking shithole. It's a border city, and they're all
Oh, yeah.
shitholes because that's where all the fun stuff comes across.
Oh yeah.
He got locked up when he was 17 because his town's like mayor was selling their food stamps to the next like county over. So my dad shows up at a rally and starts throwing bricks.
There you go.
Like, he starts throwing bricks and gets arrested. He might have been 15 or 16, but like they like arrested him and didn't tell my grandma, wouldn't tell my abuelita where he was, and they just held him. They're like, no, that's a fucking crime. It's like, that's anarchy, because that's back when like
Right.
steel mills and all that shit, Fever Pitch and Sacco and Vanzetti and all that
Oh,
stuff
man,
happened.
God.
And we realized we need
Yeah.
unions because workers are gonna fucking start killing people.
That's real.
And blowing shit up
That's real shit.
before they
I was
show up
gonna
and work
say.
18 hours and then bring their kids in for second shift.
Right.
Like, our country was fucking going through some growing pains, and that's just, that's to your point. We're starting to cycle back to that fucking
I was gonna
bullshit,
say,
man.
I mean, man, it just fucking sucks.
So he's out there throwing
It-
bricks at 15 as a migrant worker from the time he was 10, and he was one of 9 kids. So my grandpa would throw them all in the station wagon. They drive all through southern Texas and southern California, picking grapefruits and oranges and shit for fucking less than a penny, God knows when, and then you go to
That's
school.
insane.
Man,
And the
like,
teachers would
that's
char-
the worst-
teachers would
the
charge
worst you
him
can
a
hear
penny
about
for
this.
saying
I
Spanish.
know,
words.
dude. That's
Can you really
crazy.
come back to the point where like we don't even have to talk about how much money you made, like, and you do.
It's how much effort you
But
put in,
like,
how
man,
much,
can
like-
you
though.
imagine that like gas was like less than
I
$1 a
know.
gallon?
I know, dude,
But
like,
you
we-
still only could make like 50 cents an hour. But even
Seriously.
fucking still,
As a
then
kid,
it
like,
goes
anytime
up
you
and
wasn't
it
at
goes
school-
up,
I'm
everybody
saying,
goes
Once they
up.
hit 5th grade, they all jumped in the station wagon all summer
I'm
long.
saying that, which brings me back to my other point. When my grandpa first got hired into Chrysler, the starting wage was $6 an hour. He got a raise to
Let me ask you
$8
this.
an
What year do
hour,
you think that was?
and that was a fucking crazy amount of. Dude,
I don't- I
like
didn't do
starting
that
like
somewhere.
beginning 50s.
So like between the late 1960s and now,
Papa's first job.
You call him
he was
Papa?
a shoe shiner.
is that your grandpa?
My
Shoe
papa's
shining.
my grandpa.
I call my
He
dad
was-
Yeah, and
my
dude,
dad
it was
was
only, it was
Papa.
probably only
He
like a
still
few
has a
dollars an
shoe
hour.
shining kit.
Yeah, dude, like that's crazy. That is insane to think
Like
about.
we come from a
At 10
generation where
years
work
old.
was
And-
like
and-
esteemed and it meant something.
exactly.
And that's what our parents don't get. Like they valued it,
yeah.
but it's not worth that.
Like
anymore.
back in the day, when you would like get a job and work hard towards it, you would make your money's worth.
I'd
but
rather
towards
volunteer and work
today,
for
like
free and
in
maybe,
our
like,
generation, I feel like
take
when
care
we
of
get a
relatives and
job,
stuff. Like, that's
it's
what I've been
not
doing for 10
worth your
years.
money's work. Like. Or it's like your money's not worth your work. If that's, I mean, that
Right.
may sound really bitchy
cost of living
and,
goes up
super,
Right.
at an increased
and
rate
then-
relative to
I mean,
wages.
dude,
But
it's
in
not.
today's world, it's not.
It's.
You
I mean,
can't
it's
live
not.
off of
You
it.
like say for example, dude. You go to Walmart, you go to Home Depot, you go to any retail store. You gotta fucking hoist carts. You gotta fucking move them all over the parking
I
lot.
don't even wanna
You
talk
got,
about hoisting
dude.
carts.
Like
I literally
seriously, seriously.
every time I go to Walmart, I take any carts that are between me and the fucking door, and I bring them in with
and
me.
you bring them into
because
the
it
rack.
pisses me off like to no extent when
Dude,
people leave them
all
in the
that
parking
shit that's
lot.
on the
Do that?
fucking medians right there, dude. Every time, I'm not even kidding. I'll stack
I get
them all
the cart
up.
corrals
I'll
are just
take
a,
them
like,
and
place for
I'll
them to
put them
accumulate,
right back into
but
the
I'll bring
corral
them inside 'cause
because
it's
I
like,
know
why
how
you
much
leave
of
it
a
in the parking
bitch that
spot?
really is. I would
Fucking
hate
bitter
to
cold
be the
outside.
fucking person out there in the fucking
Sue
cold
taught me that. He worked
to
at Target
go
when he was
with
at
their
school.
little
He's like,
with their little
dude, like-
buggy and hoist the first cart up there and then just
Rob,
rack carts up.
I'm telling you that I'm sorry that I made you apply, but imagine not having that. I'm talking about I literally
Dude, I
will
mean-
push little me 150
Just
pounds
scrappy
of
as
absolute
fucking
scrawn.
everything you got. All these fucking carts that
I'm
people are
pushing
just.
20 carts, like pulling my
And the
fucking
shit-
back out.
And the
like
last
the
thing you
one
need is
day-
half of them to not be in a
Yeah.
corral.
I'm saying they're everywhere.
I
And then,
know,
and then you
I
just
know,
talk about other
I know.
stupid
And this
shit,
is
though.
people
I
from
know.
their
I'm-
generation
I'm-
that do
I'm-
that.
I should have been more specific. I'm
No,
thinking.
and I know
talking
what you're
from.
saying.
I'm talking
I know
from
what
my
you're saying.
speculation.
No,
Like
I
for
know what
me,
you're saying.
every time I leave a store, I think about the because I've worked in retail before.
Right,
I know
yeah.
how that
And
goes. in cars.
retail will
to-
always suck.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say
Yes, I
retail
sold chicken-
will always suck.
Sold fried chicken
and, you
in the
know,
hood,
and you know that's
had
that's
pepper
kind
spray
of,
in my apron.
That's exactly. That's kind of where like I'm going with
Mostly
the
white
conversation.
crackheads
Like
coming in
retail's
asking me
always
for
gonna
free
suck.
macaroni, but,
and
like-
you know, like our ancestors, they always talk about your work is worth your money.
Right.
It's
but
not.
it's not.
It's not anymore.
You work
And
way
it's
too
their
fucking
generation
hard
and,
for
and
so
this
little money.
capitalist-minded bullshit
Man,
that got us where we're at.
I've worked. Thank you. I've worked so many hours of
Same with you,
overtime.
then.
I busted ass working over and hours and hours and hours of just overtime. And you know what? My check still won't break 1,000.
And now,
And you know, over
I'm gonna say
1,000
something
is exactly
seriously.
what I would need
I'm gonna say something
to
seriously.
live.
Because you know, you don't, and you do. I hate my job at Home Depot. I hate it. I get paid $12.50 an hour to be a head cashier. So my job, technically, what I'm supposed to do is I'm supposed to be. I'm sorry, Brad. I'm supposed to be though, just a manager underneath the supervisor for the
Yeah, well-
cashiers. So when my supervisor isn't there, I do what a cashier does, you know what I mean? I know how to work the register, I know how to scan the stuff, you know, like, I know how to get the cards, blah, 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 I know how to do all that stuff, that's what you're supposed to know how to do. And, sorry.
I'm good.
Another hairball.
And now, this comes into something that I think is really, really important, that isn't actually important for some reason in real life. Because if I look at the basic level of retail, what I work in, and I work at the highest level of any kind of technological, medical, anthropological, scientific, engineering place, anything like that. The CEO, the store manager, right, in comparison, your immediate manager, which would be my supervisor because I'm a manager, quote unquote, right?
Not even
They
regional.
don't do what I do.
Right. Like you're
And they
you're
don't do anything especially physically strenuous.
the way that their
That's what I
work,
do.
the way that their job description is, as they see it, is based on entitlement.
Absolutely.
I'm up here, so
And-
I'm practicing my putt with
Right,
a fucking solo
right.
cup.
And
some fake
literally
grass.
I'm gonna putt so that my ball hits you on the
It's
fucking
like Seuss and
forehead
Destiny.
as that shit calms
Seuss and
down.
Destiny bust their asses over at
Every,
just
yeah, jerking off
That's
in the
why I
back
brought that
fucking
labor law
room,
book. I
doing
was like,
God
look,
knows what, getting
you guys
paid
have
2 times
rights.
the amount.
You guys have rights, and you talk about corporate like it's a God-fearing thing that's gonna smite you down. It's not how it works. But if you let it, they will jack you off and edge you and ruin your
That's why I got a
fucking.
bunch of legal books.
They
And-
ruin your
Read
climax.
up on it.
They'll ruin your
Find out
climax
what
till the end of the
they're
fucking
entitled
time. Like
in
they'll mess with your nut as long as you let them.
the whole thing circling around that I think about retail, which also goes into our topic of like millennials, entitlement, and so on and so forth.
Perceptions of generation.
Hating our job, blah blah blah. I hate my job. Of course, I hate my job. It's the basic. It's a
Everybody
basic ass fucking
These days,
thing.
you know.
And and
Go ahead. Go ahead.
once I got you.
Go
got
ahead.
you,
Go
don't
ahead.
worry.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Everyone hates their job, except for the people who have really cushy jobs, which
Right.
are always going to be the people above you. Well, that's why you get a degree, right? That's why you go into school.
Right.
Well, here we go. Here we fucking go. I can't go to school without having that job that I hate.
I need wheels.
But I can't go to school in person the way I like to go to school. And people decided
Everybody
that
learns
now
different.
everyone wants to do online schooling, or a lot of people need online schooling for when you're working.
Right. And how much of that's not
But
accredited?
then-
God forbid.
But then, one day, you get called into work, and you can't go to school. But attendance is a policy for what you need as a grade.
Preach, man. Fucking
Now,
hell.
what am I gonna do? Am I gonna go to school because that's gonna make me better? Or am I gonna go to work
So I have gas to put me in the
so I
money
can
it
get
takes to
there,
get
so
there.
I can pay for it, and so I can fucking finish?
I can email
But
my
one
paper
place
to the
thinks-
fucking teacher, but
one
God
place
forbid that be
thinks I'm
enough.
lazy, And one place thinks
I'm cutting
that
corners.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm cutting corners. I'm doing stuff the fucking easy way, or you know what I mean. My life is fucking cushy, and I'm having a good time because
It's like,
I
no,
can't
it's
make
like,
to
it's
both
not
at the
what
same
it was,
time.
like, my-
Because what I did was I went to
that's
school
such
and I
bullshit.
raised 70 children, and I had 60 fucking
Right.
jobs, and
I
I
told my
fucking
mom that.
made it
I was
to
like,
work
think about
every day
this,
on
Mom.
time and
You
still
had
got an
me
hour of sleep.
and my younger brother. You were married. You had a house, like a house, a mortgage, a car payment. You were doing your practicum at a school after getting your master's, and then you started taking night classes to get your specialist degree, and you came
Right.
up 12 credits shy of your PhD. And that's when having 2 kids, a husband, a house, and a job finally was just a little too much to keep you from being able to finish school.
And
I was in the middle of my
like-
third, undergrad degree. My cousin died out of nowhere, and like my family just all kind of everybody kind of fell to shit.
Right,
So I'm sitting there at school, like, fuck it, I'm running track, I'm taking 18 credits. You don't really know your limits when you're younger, obviously,
No,
and
yeah,
you don't really
absolutely
know the finality of death and grief. It's something that hits you like a
I mean,
fucking,
that's a fucking
like a fucking baseball
I
bat.
crashed my ATV when I was like fucking 10 years old.
Yeah, and so you hit that like, oh fuck, I can't just mind over matter
Somewhat
this. Like,
metaphorical while you retard.
I'm with you. That scar I showed you on my
Appreciate
leg, it was metaphorical, but we still rolled that ATV.
Hey,
And I
that's
still
the
tried to fucking
truth.
catch it with my leg.
God damn.
Yeah, see?
But yeah,
I
so,
fucking
like,
made
it's,
that
things
connection
get complicated.
telepathically.
My mom, I asked her, because when my cousin died, she was like, I'm sorry this happened. Because what happened is my cousin, one of my other cousins accidentally called me while I was at school eating a bowl of oatmeal in between classes and told me that my other cousin was dead. He thought I already knew, but I didn't. So he was like, you doing okay, man? I was like, fuck yeah, dude. I'm going to be late for class, so you don't fucking cut to the point. Trying to finish his oatmeal. And then I got to walk to class. Well, I just want to touch base and make sure you're okay. He's like a second cousin. He's way older. I was like, I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm not doing drugs. I'm not in a crack house. I swear to God, John. Like, I don't know what Grandpa told you, but he's like, no, like James and everything. I was like, yeah, I talked to him yesterday. I literally had seen my cousin the day before. I was in town getting my license renewed. And we passed each other at a 5-way stop in Beloit and did like a bunch of that, yeah, fuck you, dude.
Oh,
Yeah,
no.
He was going to pick up his paycheck where we both worked, and I was going to get my license on my way back to school. And he got killed in a car crash later that night 'cause some asshole was just trying to flex a BMW that he bought and ripped it in half on a tree. It's one of those things like, it was like,
Oh, no.
and I was like, so he's like, oh, fuck. And I was like, look, I'm trying to be a dick or anything, but like, I got to get to class, like, and then I got practice, and then I got a lift, and then I got dinner. Do you want me to call you back later? Because I can call you back at like 7. He's like, dude, do you know, right? And I was like, I know what? And he was like, and it was just one of those moments where it's just like, something hits you, and you think you can kind of just be like, look, this sucks because everybody knows everybody dies.
Exactly what the
I know
fuck you're talking
Everybody
about.
dies, so like, you know what?
And it's like you
Tragedy
swallow
triumph.
it. You swallow
Swallow
it
it,
so hard,
try to
and
gut
it
it.
literally just
until
for some
you
reason just
fucking
hits
are
you.
there.
My
and
parents
you
were literally
realize-
on their way up there to like tell me, and so like I call like he's like, you need to call your mom. James died in a car accident last night. I'm so sorry. I thought you knew. So I was like, just chuck my oatmeal. I was like, fuck oatmeal, and fuck this house. And my roommates in the living room. I was like, fuck you. And I just.
Yeah.
I didn't say that, but I was thinking,
Well,
fuck all this.
yeah,
Like, this can't be right. You're joking.
Man,
Right, yeah,
that's,
you're
that's
fucking
I mean,
'Cause
it's fucking, it's true.
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally what happens. Just all matters go out the window.
Right.
I know.
So
I mean,
like,
just like.
so my mom shows up. She's like,
hearing
"Who
that
told
stuff-
you?" I was like, "Well, Jonathan thought I fucking knew. You could have called me. I'm saying you're taking I'm supposed to be taking an exam. Either way, being at school, being at 19 or no, not 19. I just turned 21 like the weekend prior, and he just started going to like Blackhawk Tech.
Yeah.
He wasn't really like book smart really, but he called me and he's like, "Hey man, I enrolled in Blackhawk Tech. If I need help like with any papers, do you want to help me?" And I was like, "Dude, fuck yeah, email me whatever." I gave him my info, and then he's like, "I'll come celebrate your birthday next weekend." It's like it never happened, and it sounds really sad, and it's like I've been through more since then, giving me more perspective. But at that time, it's like I can do this. Like I got a lot of friends. There's a girl next door that likes to come over and like jump in my bed in the middle of the night. Like, there's a lot of things to keep my mind off of things. I got a track meet next weekend. I got a lot of
my
homework to do.
resources.
And eventually you're like, fuck. My phone's awful quiet lately.
Yeah.
And it starts to eat at you. And then all of a sudden it's like, I'm talking to my mom about it. And this is where I realized like how much like, not only did she not like deal with losing, because her best friend, she still goes and sees him. She has all her cousins, all her siblings, both her parents. My dad's gone. My best friend that Susan and I grew up with had a stroke in 2014 while coaching wrestling. Had a stroke, went into
What's
a
her
coma.
name?
His name was. He
it's
literally
a
like had a stroke and
I thought you
like
said it was a girl.
out of nowhere, just
Fuck.
toughest motherfucker I ever met.
Stroke.
Yes, yeah, 24.
Jesus fuck.
And it was
24.
like, so I'm sitting there like, okay.
And people don't believe me when I say I had a fucking heart attack.
Yeah, man. So I'm like, okay, I already lost James. Like, there's no way Bryce dies. Bryce fucking taught me how to play football. Like, Bryce is indestructible. Bryce was being parted out for fucking donation organs like 3 days later. And I was telling his parents, because, like, me and our other best friend were like, you guys go home. You've been here 3 days. Like, we'll stay overnight. The neurologist came back from vacation and was like, look, are you with the Givens family? I was like, yeah. He's like, but are you the Givens family? I was like, not by blood. We knew what was going on. So it was just like, all these things hit you. And I'm sitting there thinking, and at one point I remember it was a real rough time, 2015. And I'm comfortable with you guys, okay? I've not told a lot of people in my family this, but my cousin passed away in 2011, and that was the end of, so Donnie's the guy that my mom's with, like, that was the end of his last name. Like, his son had my cousin, but, like, my cousin's dad never married my aunt, so my mom is now, it sounds weird on paper, and I was like, what? Like, that's like incest. I was like, no, it's fucking not. It's literally, like, none of us were related by blood except for me and my cousin. Like,
Right.
what the fuck are you talking about? But so Donnie is the guy that my mom's with, and he, like, literally had me bring my mom's car over because it was making ridiculous noises when I went to back it out of the driveway and technically to my fucking car because she bought it with money that she got because my dad died. Anyway, it got real dark. I'm not resentful at all. What?
Welcome to the
She was some fucking-
podcast,
Yeah, welcome to the
everybody.
podcast.
Look, you some
everybody.
loophole fucking with
Hello,
some,
everybody.
they've been divorced since I was 12. He died in 2016. She got $60,000, and I'm living in a house with no kitchen.
Fuck all that noise.
I want to go into the UFC just to fucking vent out this anger in my fucking hands, man. Like, there's like she's, I love her to
Conor
death, but she's for a psychologist.
Can't use names.
Oh man,
Sorry.
she's
Fuck CMG.
Same.
this is my
I don't
dad.
even
See how
know
old
what I'm
that fucking picture is?
Wow, that is really.
He was
that
20.
is
He was 20 years
vintage.
older than her. He was
That
born in
is vintage.
1947.
Wow.
Yeah.
Whoa.
My dad was 73.
47.
I was from his fifth fucking batch because Mexicans get around. But like,
Holy shit, though.
You know, hang on. All right, if we could take a
47.
pause.
My mom was born in 68.
my mom was born in 66. So like,
okay, hang on. My dad. Okay, hang on. My dad was born in 67.
my dad was spitting game at 44 years old.
My dad was
Fuck,
born in
yeah.
67. Your dad was
Your
born
dad-
in 40s?
47. My dad was 70 in his 70s. My mom's now in her 50s. He was
Your dad was born. He
47.
was,
My
his
dad
dad
was-
was 20.
and like I said, my dad like he was just knocking him up left and right.
You know, was he in the service?
No, he actually was in a motorcycle accident and broke his leg in 3 places right before Vietnam.
That's why.
And he still tried to enlist.
That
That wouldn't
right
let
there
him.
is- that right
I was
there
gonna
is
say
why.
he was born
He was in a
just
motorcycle.
after World War II and just escaped Vietnam.
Dude,
he-
right?
Fuck.
Down in the city he grew up in, it's Laredo, Texas. It's a fucking shithole. It's a border city, and they're all
Oh, yeah.
shitholes because that's where all the fun stuff comes across.
Oh yeah.
He got locked up when he was 17 because his town's like mayor was selling their food stamps to the next like county over. So my dad shows up at a rally and starts throwing bricks.
There you go.
Like, he starts throwing bricks and gets arrested. He might have been 15 or 16, but like they like arrested him and didn't tell my grandma, wouldn't tell my Lolita where he was. And they just held him. They're like, no, that's a fucking crime. It's like that's anarchy because that's back when like
Right.
steel mills and all that shit, Fever Pitch and Sacco and Vanzetti and all that
Oh,
stuff
man,
happened.
I mean,
God.
And we realized we need
Yeah.
unions because workers are gonna fucking start killing people.
That's real
and blowing
fucking
shit up
That's real shit.
before they
I was
show up
gonna
and work
say.
18 hours and then bring their kids in for second shift.
Right.
Like, our country was fucking going through some growing pains, and that's just, that's to your point. We're starting to cycle back to that fucking
I was gonna
bullshit,
say.
man.
I mean, man, it just fucking sucks.
So he's out there throwing
It-
bricks at 15 as a migrant worker from the time he was 10, and he was one of 9 kids. So my grandpa would throw them all in the station wagon. They drive all through southern Texas and southern California, picking grapefruits and oranges and shit for fucking less than a penny, God knows when, and didn't go to
That's
school.
insane.
And the teachers would charge him a penny for saying
That's- I
Spanish.
know,
words.
dude. That's
Can you really
crazy.
come back to the point where like we don't even have to talk about how much money you made, like, and you do.
It's how much effort you
but
put in,
like,
how
man,
much, like-
can you
though.
imagine that like gas was like less than
I
$1 a
know.
gallon?
I know, dude,
But
like,
you
we-
still only could make like 50 cents an hour. But even
Seriously.
fucking still,
As a
then
kid,
it
like,
goes
anytime
up,
he
it
wasn't at
goes
school-
up,
I'm
everybody
saying,
goes
Once they
up.
hit 5th grade, they all jumped in the station wagon all summer
I'm
long.
saying that, which brings me back to my other point. When my grandpa first got hired into Chrysler, the starting wage was $6 an hour. He got a raise to
Let me ask you
$8
this,
an
what year do
hour,
you think that was?
and that was a fucking crazy amount. Dude,
I don't know
starting
that's
like
so good.
beginning 50s.
So like between the late 1960s and now,
Papa's first job.
You call him
he was
Papa?
a shoe shiner.
is that your grandpa?
My
Shoe
papa's
shiner.
my grandpa.
I call my
Yeah,
dad.
and dude,
my dad
it was
was
it was probably only
He
like a
still
few
has his
dollars an
shoe
hour.
shining kit.
Yeah, dude, like that's crazy. That is insane to think
Like
about.
we come from a
At 10
generation where
years
work
old.
was
And-
like
and
esteemed and it meant something.
exactly.
And that's what our parents don't get. Like they valued
it's-
it,
yeah.
but it's not worth that.
Like
anymore.
back in the day, when you would like get a job and work hard towards it, you would make your money's worth.
I'd
but
rather
towards
volunteer and work
today,
for
like
free and
in
maybe,
our
like,
generation, I feel like
take
when we
care of
get a
relatives and
job,
stuff. Like, that's
it's
what I've been doing
not
for
worth
10
your
years.
money's work. Like. Or it's like your money's not worth your work. If that's, I mean, that
Right.
may sound really bitchy
cost of living
and
goes up
super.
at an increased rate relative to
I mean,
wages.
dude,
But
it's
in
not.
today's world, it's not.
It's
You
I
can't
mean it's
live
not.
off of
You
it.
like say for example, dude, you go to Walmart, you go to Home Depot, you go to any retail store, you gotta fucking hoist carts, you gotta fucking move them all over the parking
I
lot.
don't even wanna
You
talk
got
about hoisting
dude,
carts.
like
I literally
seriously, seriously.
every time I go to Walmart, I take any carts that are between me and the fucking door, and I bring them in with
and
me.
you bring it into
because
the
it
rack.
pisses me off like to no extent when
Dude,
people leave them
all
in the
that
parking
shit that's
lot.
on the
Do that.
fucking medians right there, dude. Every time, I'm not even kidding. I'll stack
I get
them
the
all
cart
up.
corrals are
I'll
just
take
a,
them
like,
and
place for them
I'll
to
put them
accumulate.
right back into
But
the
I'll bring
corral
them inside
because
'cause
I
it's like,
know
why are
how
you
much
leaving
of
in
a
the parking
bitch that
spot?
really is. I would hate
bitter
to
cold
be
outside.
the fucking person out there in the fucking
Sue
cold
taught me that. He worked
to
at Target
go
when he was
with
at
their
school.
little
He's like,
with their little
dude, like-
buggy and hoist the first cart up there and then just
Rob,
rack carts up.
I'm telling you that I'm sorry that I made you apply, but imagine not having that. I'm talking about I literally
Dude, I
will
mean-
push little me 150
Just
pounds
scrappy
of
as
absolute
fucking
scrawn.
everything you got. All these fucking carts that
I'm
people are
pushing
just.
20 carts, like pulling my
And the
fucking
shit-
back out.
And the
like
last thing you
one
need is
day-
half of them to not be in a
Yeah,
corral.
I'm saying they're everywhere.
I
And then,
know,
and then you
I
just
know,
talk about other
I know.
stupid
And this
shit
is
though.
people
I
from
know.
their
I'm-
generation
I'm-
that do
I'm-
that.
I should have been more specific. I'm
No,
thinking.
and I
I'm
know
talking
what you're
from.
saying.
I'm talking
I know
from
what
my
you're saying.
speculation.
No,
Like
I
for
know what
me,
you're saying.
every time I leave a store, I think about the because I've worked in retail before.
Right,
I know
yeah.
how that
And
goes.
retail,
to cars.
retail,
I've
will,
had
retail
that-
will always suck.
I was gonna
Like
say
I said, I
retail
sold chicken,
will always
always
suck.
sold fried chicken
and you
in the
know,
hood,
and you know that's
had
that's
pepper
kind
spray
of
in my apron.
That's exactly. That's kind of where like I'm going with
Mostly
the
white
conversation.
crackheads
Like
coming in
retail's
asking me
always
for
gonna
free
suck.
macaroni, but
and you know,
like-
like our ancestors, they always talk about your work is worth your money.
Right.
It's
but
not.
it's not.
It's not anymore.
You work
And
way
it's
too
their
fucking
generation
hard
and,
for
and
so
this
little money.
capitalist-minded bullshit
Man,
that got us where we're at.
I've worked. Thank you. I've worked so many hours of
Same movie
overtime.
then.
I busted ass working over and hours and hours and hours of just overtime. And you know what? My check still won't break 1,000.
And now,
And you know what?
I'm
Over
gonna say
1,000
something
is exactly
seriously.
what I would need
I'm gonna say something
to
seriously.
live.
Because you know, you don't, and you do. I hate my job at Home Depot. I hate it. I get paid $12.50 an hour to be a head cashier. So my job, technically, what I'm supposed to do, is I'm supposed to be. I'm sorry, bro. I'm supposed to be though, just a manager underneath the supervisor for the
Yeah, well-
cashiers. So when my supervisor isn't there, I do what a cashier does, you know what I mean? I know how to work the register. I know how to scan the stuff. You know, like I know how to get the cards, blah blah blah. I know how to do all that stuff. That's what you're supposed to know how to do. And it's
I'm
alright.
good. I'm good.
Another hairball.
And now this comes into something that I think is really, really important that isn't actually important for some reason in real life. Because if I look at the basic level of retail, what I work in, and I work at the highest level of any kind of technological, medical, anthropological, scientific, engineering place, anything like that. The CEO, the store manager, right, in comparison, your immediate manager, which would be my supervisor because I'm a manager, quote unquote, right?
Not even
They
regional.
don't do what I do.
Right. Like you're
And they
you're
don't do anything especially physically strenuous.
the way that their
That's what I
work,
do.
the way that their job description is as they see it is based on entitlement.
Absolutely.
I'm up here, so
And-
I'm practicing my putt with a
Right,
fucking solo
right.
cup
And
some fake
literally,
grass.
I'm gonna putt so that my ball hits you on the fucking forehead as that shit calms
Zeus
down.
and Destiny bust their asses over it. See,
Every
and
fucking
Carl's
day.
just
Jerking off
That's
in the
why I
back
brought that
fucking
labor law
room,
book. I
doing
was like,
God
look,
knows what, getting
you
paid
guys
2
have
times
rights.
the amount.
You guys have rights, and you talk about corporate like it's a God fearing thing that's gonna smite you down. It's not how it works. But if you let it, they will jack you off and edge you and ruin your
That's why
fucking.
they got a bunch of legal books.
They ruin your
Read
climax.
up on it.
They'll ruin your
Find out
climax
what
till the
they're
end of the fucking
entitled
time. Like
In
they'll mess with your nut as long as you let them.
the whole thing circling around that I think about retail, which also goes into our topic of like millennials, entitlement, and so on and so
Perceptions
forth.
of generation.
Hating our job, blah blah blah. I hate my job. Of course, I hate my job. It's the basic. It's a
Everybody
basic ass fucking
These days,
thing.
you know.
And
Go ahead.
once I got you.
Go ahead.
Don't worry.
Yeah, go ahead.
Everyone hates their job, except for the people who have really cushy jobs, which
Right.
are always going to be the people above you. Well, that's why you get a degree, right? That's why you go into school.
Right.
Well, here we go. Here we fucking go. I can't go to school without having that job that I hate.
I need wheels.
But I can't go to school in person the way I like to go to school. And people decided
Everybody
that
learns
now
different.
everyone wants to do online schooling, or a lot of people need online schooling for when you're working.
Right. And how much of that's not
But
accredited,
then-
God forbid.
But then, one day, you get called into work, and you can't go to school. But attendance is a policy for what you need as a grade.
Preach, man. Fucking
Now,
hell.
what am I gonna do? Am I gonna go to school because that's gonna make me better? Or am I gonna go to work
So I have gas to put me in the
so I
money
can
it
get
takes to
there,
get
so I
there.
can pay for it, and so I can fucking finish?
I can email
But
my
one
paper to
place
the
thinks-
fucking teacher, but
one
God
place
forbid that be
thinks
enough.
I'm lazy, and one place thinks
I'm cutting
that
corners.
I'm not. Yeah, I'm cutting corners. I'm doing stuff the fucking easy way, or you know what I mean. My life is fucking cushy, and I'm having a good time because
It's like,
I
no,
can't
but
make
you're
it
like,
to
it's
both
not
at the
what
same
it was,
time.
like, my-
Because what I did was I
God,
went to
that's
school
such
and I raised
bullshit.
70 children, and I had 60 fucking
Right.
jobs,
I
and I
told my
fucking
mom that.
made
I was
it
like,
to work
think about
every
this,
day on
Mom.
time and
You
still
had
got an
me
hour of sleep.
and my younger brother. You were married.
Hello, everybody. You just listened to the first ever recorded trial of our podcast for Snoozefest at Snoozefest on YouTube. Click subscribe for more if you want to listen to more. We would love to have as much support as we can. We want to try to get the channel name out there. We're trying to kind of grow in popularity. We really hope everybody enjoyed. The editing is still kind of choppy. I'm still very much a beginner at all this. So I'm trying to make it as good an experience for you guys as I would want it to be for me. So I really hope you guys kind of enjoyed everything that we talked about and just kind of got a grasp on what we're trying to do here. We had a lot of fun recording this. So if you guys want to listen to more, we're going to have Diego, Jesus, Destiny. Maybe we'll have a guest this weekend. We're going to have Darian and Elijah back for more, and, you know, we hope to pump out a lot more of these. We're going to try to do one every single week on Friday. It just is the best availability for the whole team. Like I said, we really hope you guys enjoyed. Click subscribe for more. Tell everybody about the channel. Make sure you hit the notification button every time we post. We want you guys to see it. Again, thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.